Hello everyone, welcome to the Comic Gamer Movie Show. My name's Deshaun, and today I am here to talk about the news of something that came out a few days ago. Now, when around the time Marvel announced that they were pushing back all their movies, another bit of news leaked out, some Ant-Man news, and MODOK is rumored to be in Ant-Man and the Wasp 3, or Ant-Man 2, Ant-Man and the Wasp 2, Ant-Man 3, whatever we want to call it. Now, they recently hired a Rick and Morty writer, one of Rick and Morty's big writers, and also he's worked on a bunch of other things too, which you'll see below. The guy's name is Loveness. This is his last name. I think it's like Jeff Loveness or John Loveness, something like that. But his last name is Loveness. You can look it up. And this guy's he's worked on a lot of stuff. But the most important thing is he's worked on he's written for comic books as well. But intriguingly enough, the big comic book that he worked on, that got a lot of people talking when he was announced, was he worked on a Young Avengers comic book, which the specific comic book he worked on centered around Cassie Lang, aka Stature. And granted, in those Young Avengers books, I think Scott Lang's dead, and she takes on the Stature name to honor her father, and that won't be the case here. But we know a lot of rumors are coming out talking about how this story is basically going to be about Cassie becoming a hero. Is at the end of the day, this story is going to be about Cassie wanting to be a hero, finally wanting to be a hero, just like her father, just like her two fathers, really, just like the people she's seen, all these people she's grown up around. She wants to be a hero, and Scott's not going to want her to be a hero. So that's going to be, obviously, I feel like most of us would be in agreement when we say that that's probably going to be the story. The story is probably going to be about Scott having to let his daughter grow, and Scott having to come to terms with the fact that he missed 5 years of his daughter's life. I really think people don't talk about that 5-year gap enough and how big of a deal that was. There are time missing. And I feel like they're really going to play that up in this next Ant-Man movie, that Scott missed 5 years of his daughter's life and she's growing up so fast and he can't hold her back and she's like 16 now and it's just like, shit, she's going to be a woman in 2 years. I only got like 2 years to tell her what to do. So I got to let her grow. And it's obviously going to be a great father-daughter dynamic. Even it's going to be a different father-daughter dynamic because now it's going to be teenager father-daughter dynamic, which is a totally different dynamic than my little girl. She's still his little girl, but it's just a different dynamic. Dating and all that. He missed all that shit. He missed all that. But anyways, that bit's gonna be fun. But the bit that is interesting, there's two bits, but I'm gonna hit on the main topic that I'm putting on the title of this thing is MODOK. Now, MODOK is an very iconic Marvel villain. He's a very iconic Marvel character. MODOK, what was it? Mechanized organism designed for killing or designed for conquest, depending on who's writing it. The algorithm, changes. It changes depending on who's writing it. If it's on a kid's show, it's designed for conquering. If it's in a comic book, it's designed for killing. They just change it whenever they feel like changing that K. But yeah, MODOK, anybody who's read Marvel Comics knows that big body and small arms anywhere, knows that tiny voice. Everybody knows that if you've read any comics. If you've even watched cartoons as a young kid, you know who MODOK is. Now, Patton Oswalt is working on a rated R MODOK animated show on Hulu. Now, I know a lot of people don't know about that. I think I've talked about this before on here, and I don't know when it's coming out. It's Patton Oswalt. He's voicing MODOK, and he's working on it. And I don't know what he's doing behind the scenes. I can't remember. It was a while ago, man. That the crew was coming out and all the voice talent was talking about working on the show. So we'll see that when we see it. I don't know how far they got into it. I'm sure it's gotten pretty far because all those other animated shows, except Hitmonkey, which I don't know. We haven't heard anything about that either. But all the other ones got canceled, including Howard the Duck with Kevin Smith, which I was saddened about that. But I mean, maybe they'll do something with them in the MCU. But yeah, so MODOK has something going on. So, and it's very curious, too, that that show was the only animated show to not get canceled. And at the time, no one really thought about it. People were just like, oh, maybe they just won't use MODOK. And I told Seth so many times, I was like, I don't think they can do MODOK. MODOK is just so outlandish. I mean, I'm a comic fan. I love MODOK, but that's just a little much. Making people buy a giant head with little baby arms is like, that's a little much, man. Like, I guess people bought the giant purple dudes. I mean, and then, put eagles, it was a planet with a face on it, but still, I don't know. Maybe that's pushing things. I don't know. But if you were gonna do MODOK, Ant-Man is the perfect movie to do it in. Ah, man, Paul Rudd would have a field day with those jokes. I mean, the jokes and the gags alone about his head would be fantastic. Question is, who would you get to play MODOK? Can't get Patton Oswalt. That would have been everyone's choice, is Patton Oswalt, but he's doing the voice on the animated series, so you don't want to double dip there. Don't want to pay him that goddamn much. I'm paying you for this and for this. Damn, this dude making a payday. No. I don't know who they would cast. I would love it if they got, like, you know what? I would love it if they got a very, like, renowned actor to play MODOK. Like this actor of high esteem. Just like this actor who you would have never, like, one guy like Daniel Day-Lewis to play MODOK or some shit like that. Like, you just got this huge actor, guy like this massive actor of high esteem, of Oscar caliber actor, you know, like this actor you just like go, oh, this dude's in this Artier movie, and they just got him, hey, wanna voice a giant head? That's what I think they should do, because it'd be just hilarious if they got someone like a Daniel Day-Lewis, or like just someone of that stature, of someone you wouldn't even imagine would be in a Marvel property to voice MODOK, because I think it'd just be hilarious, it'd just be hysterical. But yeah, MODOK being in this, I buy it. I think that this is a high possibility, because I'm thinking of villains, and Ant-Man doesn't have a lot of villains. Ant-Man has Yellow Jacket and like one other guy. Like Ant-Man as a solo comic book, like his villains are usually Avengers villains. Like a lot of Ant-Man solo comic books, he's helping other people. Like he doesn't really have a villain. He has Yellow Jacket, and you've already seen Yellow Jacket, and he has a couple, I mean, that's why they use Ghost. Ghost is even an Ant-Man villain in Ant-Man and the Wasp. He's an Iron Man villain, and it's a he. But you know, who knows? Ant-Man and the, it's not coming out in the next 2 years. We know that for sure, because Marvel's already announced their entire slate up to 2022. So unless it's coming out in 2022, because there's only technically, I think there's only like 2 movies in 2022, which is Black Panther and Captain Marvel. So it may be in 2022, but we don't know yet. We don't know when Blade or that's coming out, but we know that those 2 movies are pretty much guaranteed to be coming out. But we don't know when it's coming out. But then there is this little minor bit of news. This minor bit of news, and it's something I've talked about many times before too, and I made a video talking about Fantastic Four. Now there is a rumor, another rumor, that Fantastic Four will be introduced in Ant-Man. Now, I sorta kinda agree. I've always been pitching the idea that I thought it would be the most simple and best way to explain the Fantastic Four without having to go into super duper, you know, without having to go too far into an origin story for real, is to just make it, it's just to say that they were a group, they were a team in like the 40s or something, maybe that's the 40s or 50s, obviously before Howard, you know, after, like maybe they're the 40s and 50s, maybe Reed Richards was a young Hank Pym's teacher, and you know, they did an experiment and they disappeared, thought to be dead. So of course they didn't report it, they thought they were dead. It was on an experiment, it was on a you know, one of those hush experiments. Everyone thought they were dead. They were just, oh, they're dead. No one would have thought they went to the quantum realm. And maybe that inspired Hank to do the Pym particle from their death. He looked into their death and then inspired the Pym particle, something like that. But yeah, the idea that they were stuck in the quantum realm, especially after Ant-Man and the Wasp kind of showed that apparently when you go there, time moves differently. And if you stay there long enough, it'll evolve you, as she says, or give you abilities, pretty much, because it gave her abilities. So the idea that, you know, they were stuck there and it changed them, and throughout the Ant-Man mission in the third Ant-Man movie, they find a ship out there, they bring it back, and Hank's like, oh my god, it's my old teacher, but he's way younger than me, because he hasn't aged a day since they went in this thing. I think that'd be fascinating. Plus, you could get, the Fantastic Four, the way their family works it can be updated, but the traditional Fantastic Four can't be done. It just doesn't make any sense in this modern era. You know, the housewife, you know, the wife, and the spoiled brat kid, and the macho man. Like, you can pull up, but the way you can make all that work is that they're not from this time. They're not from this time. They're from the 50s, or they're from the 60s. They're not from this time. They're from a different time. They're thought to be dead, and now they're back here. Different, in a different era. You get an older, you don't have to have a kid. Because the problem with Fantastic Four, just doing them, introducing them, is then you have to explain where the hell Reed Richards has been the whole time. Because he's a genius, and he would be a genius as a boy too. So you have to explain why no one asked his opinion on anything. So, but I think the Fantastic Four will make a cameo appearance or an Easter egg. There will be an Easter egg. There will be a post-credit scene. There'll be some shit where like they go into the quantum realm to do something, and literally at the end of the movie, like they're going back into the place, and like Hank Pym's gonna be like, I see a ship out here. Something like that. There will be something. I really believe there will be something. So Ant-Man and the Wasp 3 is gearing up to be twice as funny, twice as upbeat. You got a writer from Rick and Morty teaming up with Paul Rudd to write the script. You got the potential of MODOK, Cassie growing up to become Stature, and the Fantastic Four maybe making a cameo or a post-credit appearance. So what do you guys think of this information on Ant-Man and the Wasp 3? Are you excited for MODOK being introduced? How do you think MODOK will be introduced? Obviously, that would have to be the reintroduction of AIM, which they're in the MCU, but you haven't really seen them since Iron Man 2. Iron Man 2 came out like in 2010, so that's a long time ago, like 10 years ago. So you haven't really seen AIM doing anything. They got banners in the background, but you haven't really seen them. So we'll see. Thank you guys for joining the Comic Game Movie Show. Please remember to like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.